Start spreading the new.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
New York, I love you. I love New York.
Rose trying to get open, fires away. Bang! It's over! The Bulls win at the buzzer! Iguodala to Curry, back to Iguodala, up for the layup. Oh, blocked by James! LeBron James with the rejection. Puts up the three. Won't go. Rebound Bosh. Back out to Allen. His three-pointer. Bang!
What's going on, people? Welcome back to another episode of the Off the Ball podcast with me, your host, Chris LeBron. And on today's show, we're going to talk about the Knicks Summer League, and it is off to a very interesting start so far. The first two games, it has been a absolute struggle for this New York Knicks Summer League as they fall 94 to 81 versus the Boston Celtics. And they took a big loss few days ago to the Detroit Pistons in their first summer league action. They be getting their rear ends kicked, 10-point plus losses in both in their first two summer league games. This one, I mean, the amount of shots, wide open shots too, that the Knicks missed was absolutely. It was insane, the amount of wide open threes that were just missed. And I knew this team was going to struggle offensively because you just did not have enough perimeter shot makers. But I didn't think it'd be this bad. And today was, in some instances, worse than the Detroit game. So there were some highlights. There were some positive points, but you know, you you know, I have mentioned, I talked a lot and talk highly of Tyler Kolek, and I expected him to really shine in summer league, and expected him to really take over and be that guy that can be trusted as the backup point guard for Jalen Brunson. I mentioned it multiple times that I think he's the most important player in summer league, and he's going to be the focal point. I think he's just as important as Pacom Dadier or anyone else on this team, because he has maybe the most important job behind Brunson in being the backup point guard. And it was in the first game, and I mentioned this in the first game. And shout out to Billy Goat, McCullough, Dottie, Akpor, the only players on the Summer League team that deserve to sit the bench on the real Knicks team. Yeah, McCullough really showed me. So I know the outside shot hasn't gone, and there was a lot of, especially early on in this game, where he'll have a really good moment, or whether he attacks the basket. He had a couple good reverse layups, taking dudes off the dribble, even some good defense possession, but then he'll follow it up by a really dumb defensive possession, or a really dumb offensive mistake. Turnovers still, still an issue with him. He's still figuring out how to be a facilitator, even though that's not his game. I think sometimes he forced it a lot, and we saw that today. But back to Tyler Kolek. In the first game, I thought, yes, he had the turnovers, and he had some nasty turnovers, some careless turnovers. One where a guy just reached over the back to strip the ball for him. A lot, just lazy passes. One, especially that first one he had in Detroit versus Detroit, where I think Ron Holland took it for to the rack. But you still saw some good things. He was active. Did some good things defensively. Was able to at least get to the cup. But this game, he was one of 16 in this game. One of 14 and missed all six. And that's the thing, man. It's a lot of the things that are issue with Tyler are still an issue. The shot is just flat, really flat, not a lot of arc to it. Rushing the shot, I don't know why he's rushing so much, and even when he's open, he's missing it. That's not good, you know. So in his first, few summer league games, it has not been good offensively. So like I said, 1 of 14, 0 for 6 from three, only 4 assists today, 4 turnovers, a -25, -25 on the plus minus. But I didn't think he played. I thought he'd be better than the first game. I actually didn't think he didn't play that bad the first game. This one was just he played really bad. He was not good. And listen, everyone else, nobody other than McCullough, everyone was pretty. Porty was active defensively. That you like that. Diawara really showed me some things. He's creative with the ball in his hand. Like he can do stuff with the ball. One thing that was maybe a kind of a a knock on him was the offensive creation. And he showed some. He's confident when he has the ball in his hand, which is a good thing. Because if that can be something that you can use to his uh, going forward, then that's a positive. Because some of the defensive stuff. But he had his moments defensively where he was not there. Um, James Najee is he's still he's another one who's a work in progress. Some moments, but still trying to figure out. That's why he's super raw. That's why he went in the second round instead of being a top 20 pick, which he maybe should have been, a couple years back in 23. But man, that one hurts. Tyler Kolek struggling the way he struggled this game offensively. Um, that was disappointing because, like I said, I think he's very important, but the fact that he struggled the way he did offensively. He actually did some good things defensively, getting to some of the spots, creating offensive fouls for Boston. Quick hands. It just felt like he was in his head this game with the first game, even though the shot wasn't going down, he still felt like he was confident. He still felt confident. He still felt like he was making the correct passes. He was making highlight passes. In this game, it just was not the case. I think because the shot was not going, I think he let that affect him. I think he saw, especially in the first game too, the shot wasn't going down. And I think that really affected him a lot. So right now, he's in his head. I think he's clearly in his head, and he's gonna have to get out of that. He's got to get out of that because you know what we mentioned before. The Knicks have one more roster spot they're trying to get, and multiple people have reported that they're interested in maybe getting another ball handler, and the Knicks might be trying to look for another ball handler, lead guard. So they play Tuesday, so we'll see how he does against Brooklyn. But yeah, this was not a good display for Mr. Tyler Kolek. Not a good display for Tyler. Disappointing. Very disappointed in his play. Mohamed Diawara, though, I mentioned him before. I liked his confidence. That's a good sign. Some creativity with the ball in his hand, like his ability to and that still can be a little bit wild, but I expect that. I'm not gonna expect perfectionist. And you know, especially they're gonna see a lot of stoppages because we don't have shooting. I mean, the Knicks, they shot, let's see, 6 of 37 from three. They shot 16% from three. It was nasty. Pacome Dade, 3 of 11. He actually left the game early. So we'll see the diagnosis for him. But he had some moments too, creatively getting to the bucket, finishing with the left, finishing with the right. Uh Still some defensive stuff I'm not crazy about. He tends to get beat very, very easily. Like, his on ball defense is actually not bad, but the minute someone gets back, heck, he gets beaten a lot. And that's something that needs to get fixed. Uh Huck was good. Huck was active on the boards, had some nice blocks. I'm not really worried about. He's probably the one I'm least worried about. He's going to be all right. Had some moments, careless with the basketball, some bad passing, and some, even when he's getting attacked, he's still not a He still needs to improve as a shot blocker. Still some moments where guys are getting into his body and guys are finishing. I don't think that should be the case with a guy like Huck, but that's still a work in progress. His rim protecting. Just reading some of my notes. The turnovers were a massive issue. Just carelessness with the ball, even worse than the first game, in my opinion. Like there was some careless turnovers that really, McCullough's had some. McCullers didn't have a great start. He struggled, especially with the nastiness of the turnovers. Man, like there's some bad turnovers. But one thing I did like about McCullers is yes, the shot's not there. The shot is not there. He only shot 1 of 5 from three, but his aggressiveness was something that I really like. Like the shot's not there, but he was able to attack, attack. And he has the frame. He's 6'6", 210. Like he has the frame to be able to get to his spots and get to the bucket. And went to the free throw line, I think 10 times. Only missed one free throw. So those are things you do like, but the shot is not there. The shot is not there. And he had a lot of good they had a lot of good looks that they simply missed, and they missed badly on a lot of open things. That's the one thing that's concerning. It's one thing you even miss, but it's how you miss. It's a lot of bad misses by this team. Like I said, I know it's summer league. Really hate to overreact with summer league, but there's some things I just that need to get buttoned up. You know, Dink Pate had some moments. I think the shot looked relatively good. He took some good shots too from the perimeter. I think he was 1 of 4 from three. Hit one. A couple, I think one other one was like in and out. So, I still want to see him be a little bit more aggressive when he has the ball in his hand going downhill. Those are still some things I want to see more of him doing. I hope they can put him. I know the focal point is McCullers and Tyler because those are the guys that are going to be on the big club. But I would like to see. I would like to see him get the ball in his hand a little bit more. Baychamp, yeah, yeah, it was not good. He that was a really bad game on both ends. He couldn't shoot the ball. I think he was 0 of let me look, 0 of 5, and then defensively just gave you absolutely nothing. Um, yeah, so that he's on his yeah, did not look good at all for John. I was expecting a little bit. Like I said, I was expecting about a better effort from a lot of these guys, but it was bad. Luka Skuka missed every shot. I'm not expecting. I didn't really keen in on some of the Anton Watson had some moments. Yuda Ababa, he came in and really, he got the crowd going late. Had some nice hustle moments, but I mean everybody else. I mean, it was just not a good display. I mean, you got to give credit to Boston too. Like uh, Jordan Walsh really was on Kolek. Like he was giving him hell. He was giving him hell. He was on ball on him all the time and really gave him really made him work. Which Kolek he needs. He needed that. Um so he needs to learn from that. But yeah, it just disappointing in Kolek. I've if you know me, I'm a big Kolek guy. I really want him to shine and be that lead backup guard, but it's he hasn't shown it. He did not show it so far. I think the first game was actually better. Like I said, mentioned the first game was way better than the stat sheet shows. I think he was aggressive. The shot didn't go down, but at least everything else was, I think, relatively good. Turnovers were bad, but some of the turnovers bad. But I liked his aggressiveness. I like what he was doing on defense. Being annoying, that type of player. But today was just there was not there. The aggressiveness wasn't the way it was against Detroit. The passing wasn't there, the playmaking wasn't there. He still needs to figure out how to finish around the rim, try to develop some has work on his touch. He doesn't have much touch. That's something that needs to get worked on, but it was tough. That was definitely a tough game. Like I said, McCullers positive. Huck relatively good. Obviously, Diawara was solid. Kolek, like I said, Kolek's the most important piece, and I just didn't think she did enough. He struggled. He struggled, and that's not what you want. That's definitely not what you want. Just trying to read some more. Yeah, man. Kolick is just he just not shot the ball well so far. Good looks too, man. Like McCullough's gotten some really good looks. Some really good looks. But a tough game. Tough game. It seemed like he got into his head. You know, at least in a game in Detroit, he was active. Yes, the turnovers are high, but he was trying to make plays, 8 assists. But yeah, this wasn't it. Tough game. Tough game overall for everyone. They just could not shoot. I mean, they were 6 to 27 against Detroit, and then they were what? They missed 13% against the Celtics. It's just it's not. They couldn't shoot. They had good looks too. Had good looks too. Just nothing can go right for this team offensively. So they have to have a better. They have to have a better showing against the Nets, and I think they play Tuesday. But yeah, just not good. Just not good. You know, you want to see better. Hopefully, Bacomb's okay, but they're going to be thinking about some of that last roster spot and see how they're going to utilize that spot because it might be more of importance than they actually thought, which is disappointing because I thought that they we would see these guys really show out. I wrote notes. Like I have notes from both games, and some of it is just it's a lot of negative, a lot of negative, some positive. You know, a lot of good stuff from Diawara, confident with the ball in his hand. You know, again, insanely confident. You know, McCullers with a bad end one. Defensively, that was poor defense on his end. Baychamp just absolutely don't know what he was doing. Told getting good shots. Like he had good looks, just couldn't hit it. You know, McCullough attacking the basket. You know, just Huck active on the boards. Huck with some, as much as he gives up some layups and some stuff around the rim. You know, he has some monster blocks. Kolek was definitely getting like I said, Jordan Walsh was on him like a hawk. Yeah, a tough day for the New York Knickerbockers and the youngins. So we'll see how they'll bounce back versus the Nets in a few days. You know, we'll see if they'll we might see some more of if they'll open up the bench more with Baba. Maybe Baba gets some more minutes. You know, maybe he is older, but maybe they can get some see what happens. Anything from him. You know, obviously, I know they're really focused on their guys who are going to be on the main club, but some positive. Like I said, I'm going to keep this short. If you are watching, I will have a show. I will be on the New York Post Sports with Dexter Henry tomorrow, so check that out. But just a couple positives. Positives, McCullough attacking the basket. That was a really good thing. You love to see that from him. Was able to attack. The shot wasn't there, but he was able to attack. Had some good defensive moments, had some poor defensive moments, but overall, getting 30 points is still impressive, you know, and got to the free throw line. So, that's something that you like to see. He did, he almost used all his fouls too. So he needs to work on his technique on defensive because he has the ability to be a good defender, but he was getting he was reaching a lot. Ira Porty active on the boards, just a great communicator too. And you just like his energy, he likes to, you like his leadership qualities too. So Huck is, positive on that side of Huck. Um, Mohamed Diawara, the ability to handle the ball, have some creation, take dudes off the dribble. Some things that you didn't really see much, with him playing overseas. You know, the outside shot still, I don't think is going to be a thing, but a guy of that size that you could trust a little bit with the ball in his hand. You don't do too much because he's still a little sloppy at times. But that was a positive moment to see that he can do some of that stuff. Some did good dink paint moments. I said I wish I could see a little bit more career. A little more with him on the ball. I feel like there's still something there with him. So I hope we can get to see that. But some good things with him. Obviously, the negatives that maybe roster construction, of the summer league because you have no shooting at all, and that kind of affects everyone, especially Tyler. He seems like he's affected a lot with having a bunch of non-shooters on this team. Maybe his assist numbers are he did also, I know he had 4 assists, but there was a lot of assists that were just because of guys that didn't make shots. He missed out on having maybe 10 plus assists because guys just could not hit shots. Obviously the negative, Tyler Kolek offensively just wasn't good. But overall everyone wasn't good. Pacone wasn't good offensively, had some moments, but overall just didn't play well and he got hurt. Missed wide open threes being missed that's not good. That's bad. And defensively, just a lot of miscues and a lot of, giving up easy shots around the rim. So those are things they need to work on. So we'll see what happens in game 3 versus the Brooklyn Nets. Hopefully a little bit more crisper basketball, cleaner basketball. Like the turnovers too, just a lot of bad turnovers too. I mean, they had 22 turnovers. It's unacceptable, man. It's gotta be way more crisper basketball. I know Kolek is going to get a lot of flack, but overall, everyone has to play a little bit better. I mean, because McCullers had bad turnovers. Listen, Huckport between Kolek, Huckporty, and McCullough, you had 15 turnovers. Like those 3 guys, those are your 3 draft picks. They can't have that many turnovers. They got to play clean. They got to play a lot more cleaner basketball. And they found, and also they had the most, McCullough and Porty had 13 fouls. So you need to see they're your big 3 in the summer league. The guys you are seeing if they can help the bench are going to be big parts of this bench for next season. Got to be better. Got to be better. Got to be better. This wasn't good. Got to be better. Like it was bad overall. I know it's summer league. I know you're playing with a bunch of guys that you might not even we might not see very soon, but it wasn't good. Got to be better. So we'll see how they bounce back Tuesday versus the Brooklyn Nets. Hopefully, it's filled with a lot less turnovers because and it's crazy. I posted on Twitter like, what do we expect from this team going forward? And I mean, for this game, and a lot of people were just like turnovers. Please, this does not have a lot of turnovers and a lot of turnovers. So we'll see how they do against the Brooklyn Nets. But on that note, keeping it short and sweet. Be well, be safe, take care. Make sure to check me out on the New York Post Sports Show with my guy Dex Henry. That'll be dropping tomorrow. So excited about that. But on that note, be well, be safe, take care. Oh, got a question. Let me see. Before we sign off. It was wing the It was winged away. Isaiah won't play defense on him. Cole couldn't keep his handle. Yeah. Oh, it was between Isaiah Wong and Walsh. Like they really gave him hell. They gave him hell, Caesar. They gave him hell. And but that I wanted that. I wanted to see how he would and one of my things with Cole, as much as I love Kolek, one of the things I was really looking forward to see is how does he handle physicality? Because a lot of times he's at that's the main thing. That's why he was selected in the second round and not a first round pick. I thought he's a first round talent. though he was a first round pick, but he went to second because I think teams were really worried about, okay, yes, we know the passing is elite, but if you can't get, you know, if you can't get past that initial wall, what good is being a creative playmaker if you can't pass that initial wall? When you get impressed, you know. So that's the thing with Kolick is can he be able to break someone down on the perimeter? And that's a real thing. And I think we need Marcus Smart now. I think the Marcus Smart thing is if and when he gets bought out, I think that'll be a real thing. And I think it should. I think no matter what, even if Kolick was good, I think they were going to bring in another guard just to have it as insurance. So, but now I think more. Now I think more than ever. Then they're like, yeah, we definitely need to bring somebody that we can trust when JB's out. So I don't think Marcus Smart's the exact need, but listen, they don't have much money to really play with, so you have to take what you can get. So I think Marcus Smart. I mentioned this in previous shows. I think Kolick was going to be have the spotlight on him because I think, like I said, I think he was the most important player the, the, on this summer league team, and just hasn't played well so far, especially offensively. So I think I think them trying to get another lead guard is definitely in play right now. And so unless he plays against Brooklyn and he no turnovers, 10 assists, shoots over 45% from the field, hits a three, we'll see. We'll see. I still like Cole. Like I still think there's something there, but it hasn't been good so far, offensively. Like I said, there's moments. There's some things like the Detroit game. There was more good than bad, despite what the stat sheet says. I really feel that, but this one, nah, this was bad. This wasn't good at all. But overall, they played like they didn't play other than McCullers really offensively. There was just nothing there. So it's tough, especially when a bunch of non-shooters. That's kind of how you want to really use Kolick. Like he was playing also in a lot of tight spaces too, where he really couldn't do much. Like they really shrink the court because of the lack of shooting from the Knicks. So we'll see. But try to read one more thing. Yeah, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. It's even though it's summer league, it bothers me that they lost, and that's the way they play. Like I don't want to get too worked up about summer league and about you know the backups essentially, but man, like you want to see a little bit better um basketball. Like the first two games have been a tough watch. So they play again Tuesday. We'll see how they'll bounce back if they bounce back. But it's crazy. Yes, bothers me. It bothers me that they lost. It really does. I said that's a sicko I am. Bothers me that they lost in summer league. I just thought they would definitely bounce back and play better basketball in this one, but just wasn't the case. It wasn't the case. My notes are nasty. Like just a lot of bad. Bay champ, like I mentioned before, Bay champ. There's a lot of bad stuff, you know. But we'll see. We'll see how they bounce back against the Brooklyn Nets. But you guys be well, be safe, take care. Hopefully, excuse me. Hopefully the Knicks bounce back. But peace out, guys. Oh, oh, Marjan. Yeah, Caesar. Yeah, Marjan. I don't even want to talk about Marjan. He's done. He's cooked. He's cooked, man. Caesar, he's cooked. Marjan's done, man. He had Marjan just was not good at all. Wasn't good offensively, defensively. Confidence is just not there. Confidence is everything, and he's on his last legs. He's on his last legs on his NBA career. Not good. If he can't shoot it, I think is one thing for him to stay would potentially maybe make a team, get a two-way, or even just be an NBA player was the shot, his outside shot. If he can't make that and you just look scared, it's gonna be tough, man. And I'm rooting for Bacon. I liked him coming out of the G League. I really did. I thought the shot would be, his thing, but you know, yeah, it hasn't worked out. He won't be on this team, unfortunately. We could use some wing shooters potentially, but just not the case. But I think that's also a thing overall for the Knicks is they need to get a shooter. They need to find another shooter on this team. You know, not that this is a sign of what's to come, but like this is we need more shooting. That's why I really want to get Kobe Brea out of Kentucky. Like I said, I know it's crazy to think about trading up in the second round to get a player, but I would have thought about it. I definitely would have thought about it, but we'll see. All right, I'm gonna sign off now. Caesar, I appreciate you chopping in. Make sure to like, subscribe to the YouTube channel. I will be back on tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow. We'll see. We'll see. Make sure to follow me off the ball pod and all that good stuff. Doing a show for the New York Post tomorrow, New York Post Sports with my guy Dexter Henry. Um, so check that out. We'll break down these two games, these two rough games to watch on the New York Sports Post channel. Make sure to check me out there. That drops tomorrow with Dexter Henry. But on the note, be well, be safe, take care. Peace out.
Start spreading the news.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
New York, I love you. I love New York.